Metal Up World, this is CJ with cjortiz.com and metalmotivation.com. This is the first of a new 5-message series I'm doing on having a spirit of excellence. Now, this is all being shown in my Life Domination online coaching program, and you can learn more about that if you visit the link below. I'm talking about having a spirit of excellence, and you may be wondering what exactly that means. Now, when I say the word spirit, I'm not talking about something gassy. I'm talking about attitude or aim. It's the way the ancients used to use the word, this having a spirit. There was a spirit about him or her. Spirit meaning the aim or purpose of someone's intent or mind. To have a spirit of excellence. Well, what does that mean? Well, again, if you followed me for any length of time, you know that I say one phrase very often. That's this. And remember, in whatever you do, don't suck. Well, that's what a spirit of excellence is. It means don't suck. It means do things the very best that you can, always seeking to improve. I did an interview recently with a friend of mine on the new podcast that I released that's based on this called the Mental Excellence Podcast. Now, the gentleman I was interviewing, Pat McNamara, said, he gave this example. He said, when it comes to a constant improvement, he said, if you were to clone yourself, will you be able to kick your clone's ass the next day? And that's kind of a way to measure it. Are you always improving? Are you always advancing? Because we all know that we've seen a lot of people do a half-assed job at what they do. A lot of people don't put the effort in, and so they don't go very far in life, and then they complain because they don't get very far in life. They don't get the promotion that they want. Someone else gets it. Well, they didn't put the effort in. They didn't put the time in. For some reason, work really is that 4-letter word that people don't like to use. In fact, even nowadays, you can pretty much go to motivational seminars, and I don't think you'll find a session in there about work itself. I think people understand that you have to work, but I don't think they're necessarily clear to what degree you have to work. Now, when we think of work, we think of sweat, we think of expending a lot of energy and being tired. Work can take many forms and many fashions. There's creative work. There's yes, physical, laborious work. There's work of thought. You spend a lot of time thinking about something. That is all categories or forms of work. But again, the problem that most of us have is that we're simply not putting in the effort we need to in order to commit to that constant improvement, that constant seeking of perfection. Now, perfection is the ideal. Do we ever reach it, and has anybody ever reached it? Well, that's hard to say. There's certain composers of the past, like a Mozart or a Bach, that some would consider have achieved perfection. But for most of us, perfection is a very elusive thing. Now, when you talk about people that are perfectionists, that just means they like to keep everything right. But that's not perfection. Perfection is without flaw, lacking nothing. Without flaw. It means to absolutely lack nothing. That would be perfect. Another word for it is complete. Something is complete. Something is perfect. Well, it's a goal to strive for, although you may never get there. They say you can't draw a perfect circle, that there's no such thing as a perfect circle because at some microscopic level, there is always a flaw. So we're not talking about perfectionism in that sense. We're talking about a constant striving to maximize who you are, a constant striving to develop all of your abilities and whatever you're involved or engaged in work-wise, that you're constantly improving, that you're constantly pushing the envelope, that you're constantly exceeding your limits. For some of you, this may sound stressful. This may sound overbearing. You say, CJ, I don't want to do all that. I don't have a fun job. I don't like what I do. Why would I want to get better at it? Well, I'm not talking about necessarily getting better at something you don't like doing. However, there is an attitude there about work which you should have. Where is your self-respect? Don't you want to do a good job simply because you want to do a good job? It doesn't matter how mundane. We're going to talk more about this later on in this series about what to do with mundane work, how to make it more than it is. But check your attitude. Don't you want to do a good job at anything that you do? Don't you want to strive to do better in anything that you do? If not, how are you living with your conscience? You say, well, my conscience doesn't tell me. Then you know you have a problem. When your conscience is quiet about things you should obviously be concerned about, you should be concerned about that. If your conscience is not checking you based on the fact that you put out half-assed work, that you're lazy, that you're always late, you don't do what you say you're going to do, you leave early, if none of that bothers you, you have a conscience problem. And you better be concerned about that, because that will eventually grow and cover every area of your life. And one day you'll wake up unemployed, overweight, divorced, and your kids won't talk to you anymore. That's what happens when you don't see the importance of the little things. And having that spirit of excellence, when you have it, it draws attention to the little things. The little things are very, very important. I once worked with a venue and bar in Texas, and the owner of the bar was very, very strict about certain policies. And man, he would go off on the staff about something like ashtrays. He would come unglued if he came out there and find a full ashtray in his venue, in his bar. Why? And everybody would say, why is he making such a big deal about these ashtrays? He did it so much, I eventually called it the ashtray policy. And the reason why I tried to get people to understand that was because they were missing something very, very important. It wasn't just that the owner wasn't concerned about other aspects of the business. He was looking at the little things. To him, $10 was $100, $100 was $1,000, and so on. Little things magnified large in his mind. So one day he had me come and speak to the staff, and I told them this. This is what the ashtray policy means. This owner has built this large edifice. He's put a lot of money into it. He goes to bed with it every night. He's put all the money into the decor and you know, the staging and the lighting and all the staff and all the product that gets sold, all the merch, all the bands. He has to pay millions of dollars a year to run this bar. But he spends all that money in advertising and everything to bring his customer in the bar, and everything is great. And then you sit them down in front of a trash can. That's what his point was. You sit them down in front of a trash can. So I said it this way. When you as a staff person understand that that ashtray is just as important as the band that's playing on that stage, you'll understand the ashtray policy. You'll understand why little things matter. That's what it means to have a spirit of excellence, an aim, an attitude, a mindset for excellence. Can you dig that? Well, listen, that's what I'm covering all this week in the Life Domination Online Coaching Program. If you would like to see the rest of these videos, this is how you do it. You've got to sign up for the Life Domination Online Coaching Program. It's very inexpensive, less than $20 a month. You get 5 videos each week, every week, as well as access to the complete archives of over 500 videos. That's right, all that for under 20 bucks. You get to be in a private Facebook group where all of this is shown. I'm the administrator of the group, so you get to deal with me personally. The only other people in there are people just like you. Motivated people that want to make a change in their life and want to get away from the public setting and all the naysayers and critics and all this stuff, and just be able to be in a closed environment with positive people, with solid teaching to change your life and give you that track to run on. No contract to sign, nothing like that. You can join anytime, you can quit anytime. Again, less than $20 a month. I think that's a pretty damn good deal. So join me in it. Just visit the link below, metalmotivation.com/life domination coaching. This is CJ, the Metal Motivator. And remember, in whatever you do, don't suck. Metal up.